All right, everybody, welcome to another Addicted podcast. We are sitting here in studio with the great Eric Swanson like we had a couple weeks ago, but we're talking another special occasion tonight. We're going to be doing some spring Chinook discussion because by the time you guys are hearing this, we should be in the freaking thick of it. But before we get started on that, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Nick Wax, because guess what? It's still going to rain in the summer months, and you're going to need your Nick Wax.
Guaranteed.
Now you're just going to see it coming, though.
What's that now?
You're going to see it coming in the spring. You're out on the river. It's sunny. It's nice. You see this black wall coming towards you.
That's spring weather. Though.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was Saturday for
put
me.
Your coats on.
Oh, you got hit by a couple of those big squallers?
A couple good ones. Where it was night. It was like 70. Everybody was like T-shirts, and all of a sudden, downriver, you could see the wind on the water, and you could see the dark clouds.
And then 20 minutes later?
And then 20 minutes later, it was 70 and sunny again.
Oh, goodness.
I'll never forget this total tangent. Sorry, everybody. We're in Florida. And that wall of water came in.
Yeah, that reminded me.
You could hear it from like a quarter mile away. Just, but it was just like sitting down on the Columbia on a hog line, getting just jumped on with springers,
getting smoked. I remember a couple of years back, since we are talking springers, guys. One thing to be really alert about is the weather, of course. But I remember looking to the south, seeing the red wall, like pulling up the radar, seeing that it was just red, and then we were parked on the beach across the river. Told my guys, it's time for lunch. Let's go over. And so we shoot over to the bank, put the boat on the bank, throw the anchor out, go sit in the truck, and it lets loose, and boats are flying off the water. They can't, get out of there quick enough.
Yep.
20, 30 minutes later, the skies break, and then what generally happens after that squall comes through?
Fish bite.
Fish bite.
They always
follow
they do.
It's weird. They do. So if you can take your punishment,
right,
but you're not going to be as punished if your coats have Nick Wax on them.
Exactly.
You like that saying, boom. I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, you are.
Am I getting good at this?
Marlin.
Damn. Yeah, that's right. Call him. Yeah. Marlino. Touchdown. No kidding.
Touchdown.
But yeah, we figured, it's right in the thick of it. We're going to be doing some Springer talk. And
actually is the first one of all of us to be out there.
That's true. He's actually put some time in. So give us the report. Yeah. Because we're all about reports here on Fishing Addicts.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But so
still, I want the report.
I fished 5 rods on Saturday and 6 rods on Sunday from like 7 to 4, and no bites. I mark like 2 fish each day, a ton of smelt, a ton of sea lions. So I'm going to switch tactics tomorrow and fish a different river system where the water's a little bit warmer. So and try and get away from the smelt and get away from the sea lions and go somewhere else.
Well, let's okay. You know what?
To be fair,
to be fair, we're gonna talk.
Right,
you are in the Willamette.
Yeah.
There's really. When we're talking spring Chinook,
right?
Especially, we always talk Columbia and Willamette. There is that. Okay, you can fish the Columbia,
right,
where you're gonna have all the other tributaries of fish, all the upriver fish coming through. And so your odds of there being more fish out there is greater. But then when you go into the Willamette and when you go into the channel, you've got some concentrating effects and a little bit warmer water right now.
Yep. So that Columbia, when I was out there Saturday and Sunday, it was like 41.5. And then when I ended the day on Sunday, it was like 42.2. So it's creeping up there. But the channel in the Willamette was sitting about 46.
Oh, my gosh. 46?
Yeah. It was quite a bit higher.
That's pretty damn warm. So... I'm not going to say anything for this year. I can remember in some years past where that Columbia was like in the upper 30s. I remember 38, 39.
Last year when we first started was like 37.5. It was insanely cold.
Right. Yeah. And that's why we had a long sturgeon season. But that's for another podcast.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Willamette definitely, obviously moves a little bit slower in speed than the Columbia. Do you think these warm weather days like this, the Willamette obviously heats up a lot faster? We've had a good week of warm weather.
I've seen it before where you start off the day
degrees a day,
like 2 a day. Like sometimes you get a 70-degree afternoon, and that's surface water, of course.
Yeah.
But it'll bump up a couple degrees a day, and it doesn't take very long. A week of 60, 70-degree afternoons for that water to really bump up.
Yeah,
it's surprising that it is even colder because it's very unregulated. The Willamette goes a long way without any sort of dam system. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that they pour in there so early like that.
Well, I'm wondering if you have stuff like Oregon City Falls, churning that water. Right. So it's as it's baking through the valley, it's not, I don't know. I don't really know the dynamics of that. But one thing I want to say too is but it is a gamble. So it's not like, I know you didn't want to say Willamette at the start of this, but it's not like it's reporting because let's be honest, it's still a needle in a haystack.
It is. I fished the 27th and 28th of February. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was a needle in a haystack,
Right.
for sure.
But they are getting caught.
They are.
And it's a good sign that they are getting caught in both places. I've gotten pictures. In fact, even just this morning, I've gotten one picture from the Willamette system, which can be anything from Oregon City down. We'll just leave it at that. And I got one from the Columbia. Right. So it's like, pick your poison.
So on Sunday, 3 of my buddies caught fish in the Willamette. 3 guys that I know personally caught fish in the Willamette.
Oh, you were out in the
while I was in the Columbia.
Yeah.
Oops.
So I was like,
yeah. There's something to be said though. We all see coming back from the coast.
So guess
this time
what I'm
of
doing
year,
tomorrow.
steelhead fishing.
Yeah.
Those smelt. I think you're dead on with that. The smelt and the sea lion thing. It just you're not.
Well, let's
see. We watch it. You guys watch them down in Astoria all fall. Chase them off of your flasher. I mean, that's happening right now as well. So it's like even worse.
Well, let's talk about the smelt because I mean, one thing, the smelter, it's weird because we've seen years where those smelt will push all the way up to the Sandy, like I'm talking like 10 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago, and it didn't seem to like deter the springer bite because you would definitely catch springers with 8 to 10 smelt in their belly. So they're on the feed. Like it's not just the happenstance glance, but I remember on those years, like I ended up running a lot of like prawn spinner, even when the water was really, really cold. And don't get me wrong, we were
not silver and shiny.
Right.
Trying to be different. And that paid dividends. I remember on one specific year, we were still allowed to fish that Astoria, so I had to at least be more than 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
But so like that smelt can be a deterrent, but I think it also like said, I mean, those fish have got to be feeding on those bastards. They got to be driving to it. So
guaranteed.
Following them. They say that a lot of times those springers follow the smelt.
Right.
I don't know who really coined that or.
Yeah. Well, one thing I know for sure is I marked them down there like we mark anchovies in Astoria. I mean, they were from 10 feet below my boat to the bottom in 30 feet of water.
Were your rod tips shaking and stuff?
Dude, at one point, so I hadn't. So my very first pass
From running through
that I marked
them?
these
Is that what
smelt.
you're talking about?
Oh yeah, your rod tips will sit there and go
Sorry.
start bouncing around like
The very
crazy.
first pass at the end of the pass when they were starting to get pushed up, I marked them and I'm like, everybody reel up. I thought it was a big snag or something. I'm like, reel up, and every single rod had a smelt snagged on them.
Yeah. So that's illegal harvest there, Mr. Swanson. We're going to have to turn you in for that, sir.
Well, I released them unharmed, so. but
I fried them unharmed.
Yeah. But after that, I'm like, okay, these are smelt. And then my next pass, they were about 400 yards further up, and then I could basically just, was marking the wad as they were kind of migrating upriver. And by the end of the day, it was just unfishable because they were so thick in there.
No kidding. So there was even a bigger one.
Have you heard a good? I mean, I saw a little video yesterday of a guy doing one dip and out.
The guys, the smelt dip that they had Tuesday killed them.
It's really big. Year.
It took me 30 minutes to get mine yesterday. Getting 3 to 5 every scoop. But I did see some of those videos where they're like 50 and you could like barely get it out of the water.
Well, an unnamed river that we were on last winter, this time it was the same thing, which is as common but fairly uncommon for how many. But yeah, you could have. I mean, it was just a 3-foot wall of them from the bank out. I mean, black
yeah,
with them, and it was impressive.
That's interesting to hear that there's that many still.
Good ocean.
Well, that's So I mean, that's. I was gonna say it's good to see them, and it's good to see them that far up, and it's also good because it sounds like if we get another smelt dip, if there's that many still fresh ones sitting in the Columbia, you didn't see any dead ones, did you? Like floating down?
I did not see any dead ones. No.
Yeah, so I mean, shoot, that could be some real nice fish. I mean, or some opportunity maybe for the sport guys to get them next week.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it was definitely a lot of them around, and one of the better dips I can remember doing. So definitely good news.
So what do you think the strategy is going to be? So we got some really nice weather this week. We've got some pretty tough weather the following week. So like, what are you going to be? I mean, do you, Mr. Swanson, think that this fishery is going to turn like every other fishery in the damn Northwest is turned into a 360 fishery?
Yes. So a couple years ago when we really started fishing 360s, I swore to myself I was never going to run them for springers because I always thought water was too cold. Well, as we kind of, develop along this, learning curve of fishing these 360s, last year I ran them and had great luck with them. And this year I'm probably going to run them a little earlier than I normally would, especially if there's a bunch of smelt around. I'm going to switch it up and try it. Once the turbidity goes down a little bit and, we can fish these things effectively, I'm going to run them.
Yeah, you think about the fish reading smelt, and then now I always believe that those flashers create like a schooling effect. Like
100%.
you have,
Yeah, I mean,
kind of key into that a little bit.
Right. So I kind of think that if these fish are full of smelt and they're not exactly hungry, I think like you said, that schooling effect, we can kind of trick them.
Well, those Hanford Reach fall fish ain't that hungry either.
Right.
300 miles from the freaking ocean, and they still eat it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of leaning in that direction. So I have a bunch of leaders tied up, especially with these orange labels that we have now. Could lead to some really good fishing, or so at least the opportunity to have some.
Cam, isn't a lot of the and I might be completely off here, but isn't a lot of the 360 fishing relative to like to current speed and water height and stuff? Is that why? Do you think is it going to be a lot harder to fish 360s and do this?
I think if they
like spike 20-ounce leads and stuff.
If they spike the Columbia like they do every first week of April, yeah, it could be tough. We might end up doing 4 or 5 miles an hour downstream trying to get these things to work. So I think in that instance, we're gonna have to kind of revert back to triangles and
this is way right, but right wing. I mean, but like, what about like pinpointing like back eddy stuff or like slower water? Like, do you think there's something to be said about a big river like that and using those 360s like
behind wing dams,
just trolling like for trout almost? Like
yep.
No,
treating it like a small river.
Yep. Treating it like a small river. No, I think you're absolutely on point. It's
hard to catch the fish, timing them when they're coming. I mean,
well, no, because they're going to seek out. It's no different than like the bank guys whooping on them when the waters come up. So every spring, we're all going to have to deal with the runoff. And now this year, the season's set till April 4th. Maybe we don't see a big component of that runoff until the season's over. But sometimes we see it. It can turn on real quick.
Yeah,
There's nothing too scary in the forecast right now that's looking that way. But man, I just believe, if you're going to have good 360 fishing, it's because you have good visibility for the fish. You have better than 4 to 5 foot, because I just don't think as anglers we have I don't think as anglers as a whole, like, we're not that good at just running 360s to where like they are a foot off the bottom as we are with triangles.
Right, exactly.
Right. And so whether they are behind the wing dam,
you got a good sounding equipment. Like when I'm the T-Rex, I'm damn near guessing.
Right.
Until it's like, okay, there's no way I can.
Yeah, but so in the fall, even with the T-Rex, but in the fall, even in the T-Rex, if you're within 20 feet of a salmon, he's gonna see it, because you got to think 10 foot of visibility each side of the salmon.
Yeah.
There's a 20-foot wall or a 20-foot window there that you have to troll through, and you're gonna get his attention.
Right.
The spring, you cut that down to 2 feet, 3 feet, 1 feet sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You don't do it, and that's when you have to start slowing the presentations down, figuring out what works. But I mean,
I'm gonna knock on wood here, but it's still like sub-zero temperatures in Idaho and Montana.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cold out there still. So I think you guys are gonna see some really nice water conditions.
I think the other thing is too is it gets pretty delayed too,
really fast.
Right.
It gets pretty delayed too, and by the time we got 4 weeks of the season as of this date right now. Right. And it takes 10 days, for some of that big water to really come down.
Really start
until I'm saying like probably like the weekend after this coming weekend.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right about
I was gonna say 10 to 14 days. You're gonna start wanting to go.
Yep, exactly.
In fact, I already called Stevens Marine and scheduled for when my boat's gonna go in to get its yearly stuff, because if you don't do that now, you're not gonna do it. And basically, I called them and they're like, I'm not gonna say that. I called them and they're like. I'm like, yeah, I need you to bring it up. They're like, oh, we're full. I'm like, really? Oh, man. I go, what if I just drop it off for the day and bring it back? And then I did not say that. I did not say that, you jerk. But I said, hey, man, I just need to put the prop on and just have a quick checkup. He's like, is that it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I get you in. I'm like,
drop it off. It'll be done in a day.
I'll just stay there. I'll wait for you guys to do it. Just give you a clean bill of health and let me go fishing.
Yes, exactly. So when is going to be your first?
Well, it was going to be the 23rd. But then that was going to be like my first true trip. But then people backed me to the 20th. And then they opened the lower. And now it's back to the 17th, the day after Steelhead closes.
Perfect. so that's coming up quick.
It's like, that's what's just going to be. And if I sneak out a day beforehand because a Steelhead trip or something cancels, I'll do it. But I'm just getting ready. But once it shows, yeah.
Well, let me tell you what, that spot we normally fish is the bottom has changed quite a bit. It's not the super flat bottom anymore.
But you know why I'm not afraid of that bottom changing? Because I got hummingbird bottom contouring. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm just going to have to remap it anyways.
Yeah, a couple 3-4 passes and you'll be set.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
Is it as humpy as the other place that we
Yes.
were forced to fish? Oh, that sucks.
Yes, I know. So when I dropped in there and set all my rods.
What about on the inside? Because sometimes like that inside 20-foot line
Right,
stays a
it's-
lot flatter out of the
It
current.
is. It was flatter, but it was still. And I don't know. Obviously it's been 2 years since we fished down there, so I
Yeah.
kind of relearned it. But it was definitely, your rods be dragging, tick tick tick, and they drop back down, and then tick 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 tick, drop, and
Bellies come back sandy.
yep, exactly.
Yeah, dragging pretty hard.
Yeah, so that was definitely interesting. Kind of relearning a spot that I hadn't fished in 2 years. So it was kind of fun at the same time, but good to get out there and kind of learn it before the fish really should start showing up. So,
Do you think you'll change? You keep going there.
well, I think I'm gonna drag a lot more. Most of the time when I used to fish down there, rod would tap every so often. You're kind of in the zone. Now,
Crack the throttle just a scotch.
now I kind of
Yeah.
find myself digging my rods more. Because those couple of fish I did mark, they were 3 feet on the backside of that hump. So I knew if I wasn't digging over the top of them,
Right over.
I was going to be 3 feet over the top of them.
Yeah.
That visibility, I could barely see the prop on my big motor. So it was like
Oh, is that cloudy?
2.5 foot vis.
Oh, yeah. You're
Because
gonna have
that Willamette was pretty dirty too. It was affecting that side of the river. So anyways, just a good trip to get out there and learn and kind of reacquaint myself with that area.
Did you find any snags?
I did. There's 2 new ones in there.
Ah, I need those GPS points and coordinates for you.
One of them is right off of the wing dam, about 100 yards off of it.
Of the little one? We're
The
talking in code here, people.
The big one.
The big
Right
one.
Just the one right below the island.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got 2 of my rods.
All these guys out there like, oh yeah, that one.
That wing down.
That rock with the moss on it.
The wing down
yeah.
below the island.
Yeah.
The wing down.
So I marked those because they, I could see them on my graph too. They were pretty good ones. They looked like stumps.
Oh, man. It's
Yeah.
like you wish they'd put some gill nets in the river to clean those things out like they used to back in the day, right?
No kidding. Yes.
Just kidding. Anyways.
So
Whoa, you snuck out.
Yeah, snuck that shot in there. So you've done your homework. You've gone out there, done a couple tests, made sure the motors are clean, got your bait. What else? What else has Eric Swanson done to prepare for the major onslaught of spring Chinook that are hopefully going
would
to die in
say-
your boat?
I definitely, I serviced all my motors, because a lot of these places I'm fishing, they're 12, 15 miles from, where I'm mooring my boat at. So doing a lot of running and gunning. So I got my boat in last month and, got all the oil change and the, gear lube change. And that's when, covering, 50, 60 miles a day running back and forth and things like that. I'm, not going to have overheating issues, change the water pump and things like that. So.
What are you going to
got that
do?
done.
What do you do after the Columbia closes? I know like everyone's ultra hyper focused on the Columbia. And
Right.
unfortunately, just today, we've seen some restrictions and some regulations come down, especially on some of the Washington trips where they've reduced some catch or they've closed some rivers just
Right.
outright to actually try to collect some more brood stock and
Mm-hmm.
higher than levels that they've been doing before. But I mean, how long are you going to be catching springers?
So I'll be catching springers all the way through June in the Willamette once the Columbia closes. And then I do a lot of summer Chinook fishing in that lower Columbia. So once that kicks off, I'll be doing that every single day. And that, I think they're predicting like 83,000 summer Chinook to return. So once I transition, out of spring Chinook there in June, then immediately roll into summer Chinook. So it's kind of, that's the fun part about this year is, basically middle of March, I'm fishing dang near every day until October. So, with as long as we have, good seasons and we have opportunity, I'll be out there.
Right. I mean, the forecasting right now, I mean, everything except for, like I said, a few Washington tributaries on the spring Chinook side of things. Like, I was talking with Ryan about that last night. It's like, you can start mid-March and we'll probably fish till Thanksgiving in some big water opportunities out there. So, I mean, 2021 is definitely starting out with a little
It's gonna
sunnier outlook than
Much sunnier.
2020 did, that's for sure.
Exactly. So, it's always fun to, springer fish and then transition to summer Chinook and then transfer into, ocean coho in July and then buoy 10, that Astoria fishery in August and then, up here where we live in September and then upriver in October. I mean, this is a good year to be a fisherman. Lots to look forward to.
That's super. I'm so excited.
It seems everything's looking up. It's a super exciting spring that we have coming up here. It feels like spring already.
It does. So 61 today.
I was in a t-shirt ripping up and down the river in my jet boat today. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It felt great. But we have a lot to look forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast out there. We thank you so much again for making it in here tonight, Eric.
Yep. Yes.
And you guys stay out there, keep chasing those fish, and stay fishy.
We'll see you guys out there.
See you guys.